ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललित श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुस्तुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासा आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्। शृण्वता स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवण कीर्तनः हृदयान्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोन्ति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भक्तिर् भगवती नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके। तद्वा विसर्गो जनताग विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबध्यवति अपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशो निकितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Welcome everyone to the morning Bhagavatam reading class. Today we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 22, which is named as the marriage of Kardama Muni and Devahuti. We are at the very end, another 3 verses. We'll be done with this chapter. So I'll be reading verse number 36. Sa evam swatantram निन्ये युगम एक सप्ततिम वासुदेव परं प्रसंगेण परिभूता गति त्रया। सह ही स्वयंभू मनु एवं thus स्व अंतरम his own period ninye past yugam of the cycles of 4 ages ekam Saptam 71 Vasudeva with Vasudeva Prasangena by topics connected Paribhuta transcended Gati Traya the 3 destinations. He passed his time which lasted 71 cycles of 4 yugas, which is 71 into 4,320,000 years. Always thinking of Vasudeva and also engaged in matter regarding Vasudeva. Thus, he transcended the 3 destinations. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The 3 destinations are meant for persons who are under control of the 3 modes of material nature. These destinations are sometimes described as the awakened, dreaming, and unconscious stages. In Bhagavad Gita, the 3 destinations are described as destinations of persons in the modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. It is stated in the Gita that those who are in the mode of goodness are promoted to a better living condition in higher planets, and those who are in the mode of passion remain within the material world on the earth or on heavenly planets. But those who are in the mode of ignorance are degraded to an animal life on planets where life is lower than human. But one who is Krishna conscious is above these 3 modes of material nature. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that anyone who engages in devotional service to the Lord automatically becomes transcendental to the three destinations of material nature and is situated in the Brahma Bhuta or self-realized stage. Although Swayambhu Manu, the ruler of this material world, appeared to be absorbed in the material happiness, he was neither in the mode of goodness nor in the modes of passion or ignorance, but in the transcendental stage. Therefore, one who fully engages in devotional service is always liberated. Bilva Mangala Thakur, a great devotee of the Lord, stated, if I have unflinching devotion to the lotus feet of Krishna, then Mother Liberation is always engaged in my service. The complete perfection of material enjoyment, religion, and economic development is at my command. People are after dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Generally, they perform religious activities to achieve some material gain, and they engage in the material activity of sense gratification. After being frustrated in material sense gratification, one wants to be liberated and become one with absolute truth. These four principles form the transcendental path for the less intelligent. Those who are actually intelligent engage in Krishna consciousness, not caring for those four principles of the transcendental method. They at once elevate themselves to the transcendental platform, which is above liberation. Liberation is not a very great achievement for a devotee, to say nothing of the results of ritualistic performances in religion, economic development, or materialistic life of sense gratification. The devotees who do not care for these, they are situated always on the transcendental platform of Brahma Bhuta stage of realization. This is such a wonderful, purport. And in fact, the verse itself is such a wonderful one. What is being said here, if you go back and read the translation that Prabhupada wrote, Swayambhu Manu passed his time, which lasted 71 cycles of 4 ages, always thinking of Vasudeva and always engaging matters regarding Vasudeva. Thus, he transcended the 3 destinations. So, for the devotee, if you really look at it, he is always thinking of the Lord, and transcending the 3 modes or the 3 gunas is not difficult. It's very easy for him. However, a stress is being laid on the number of years. We all know that in one day of Brahma, there are, I think it is 14 Manus. And because there are 14 Manus and each Manu is going through such a huge period of time, it's mind-boggling. And in this case also, Manu could have, since he's the emperor of the world, he could have enjoyed his time like any other emperor. He could have indulged in sense gratification. He could have indulged in so many other activities. What is clearly stated is he did not do that. And it's not just Manu. When we read the stories of Prahalad Maharaj or Dhruva, even they had very, very long lifetimes as the emperors. And even though they were the emperors, they would always pass their time in the topics of Vasudeva. Here, the other interesting thing is, it's the 3 gunas are being also described as the 3 destinations. You can think about the old grandfather clock with a huge pendulum, where there are, let us say, 3 locations. One is ignorance, and at the other end is passion, and in the bottom middle is the mode of goodness. So the pendulum swings all the way from ignorance to passion to goodness, so on and so forth. The same thing with any material entity. The devotee doesn't really care about mode of passion or mode of ignorance or even the mode of goodness. He is only worried about the transcendence. He wants to serve the Lord in devotion. And when you are in devotion and you want to serve the Lord, that is your only goal and nothing more. So in Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Krishna is actually saying to answering one of Arjuna's questions. What is he saying? He's saying, Mam chayo avyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevata sagunan samatityante brahma bhuta kalpate. What does it mean? One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahma. So we can see how the devotees of the Lord who are always in devotional service, it's very easy for them to transcend and stay in that transcendental level of service to the Lord. We also know, in I think it is 10, Bhagavad Gita 10:9, chapter 10, verse 9, where Krishna again tells Arjuna, Matchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayante Parasparam Katayantaschara Mam Nityam Tushyanti cha Ramanti cha. What does this mean? The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about. So we have many, many examples of this, where the devotees are spending all their time. And one such devotee is Swayambhu Manu, where he had this huge amount of time at his disposal, like 71 into 4.3 million years. He had so much time at his disposal, but how did he spend it? He did not spend it in sense gratification. What did he do? He actually spent it in, thinking about and talking about the topics of the Lord. And we also see the same thing with, Parikshit Maharaj, the same thing with, Vidura and Maitreya. So whenever two devotees meet, there is something of substance that comes out, and that we actually are studying in the scriptures. Now, going back to, 1854, where Krishna is again saying, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labate param. One who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service. So this describes Swayambhu Manu's state of mind, his consciousness. He is fully joyful and he's treating all his subjects, living entities, equally. He is not favorably disposed to one and unfavorably disposed to another. Based on the circumstances, he is dealing with each one of them in the proper way. And he is ruling his kingdom with, really transcendental goodness. Now, let us see what Prabhupada is saying in the second paragraph. He's talking about, those who are fully engaged in devotional service is always liberated. And we just read that even in Bhagavad Gita, and we are seeing that is what Swayambhu Manu is doing. And Bilva Mangala Thakur, Prabhupada is actually quoting Bilva Mangala Thakur. He's saying, I have unflinching devotion to the lotus feet of the Lord. Mother liberation, moksha, is always engaged in my service. So it is said, like if you are, serving Bhakti Devi, then Moksha Devi will be at your service, at your calling. And that is what happens with most of the Lord's devotees, So they are so much into bhakti that they don't really care for moksha. Even In Sishtastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says the same thing. I don't want money, I don't want woman, I don't want sense gratification, I don't want moksha. All I want is a little bit of service at your lotus feet. And that is what we should all do. However, as human beings, what are we doing? We are going after the four Purusharthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. If you look at it, Dharma is basically upholding one's constitutional position or duty. When you're doing Dharma, whatever your role is, maybe father, mother, child, teacher, soldier, justice, you are upholding your dharma, your duties, then you are not accumulating any karma. No positive karma, no negative. So, but it also doesn't take you anywhere by itself. Whereas when it comes to artha, kama, artha and kama are desires, and because you have a desire, which is the artha, what you do? You do karma. You act on that artha or the desire. When you act on the desire and you perform an activity, then you are going to accumulate either a positive or a negative karma. And this positive or negative karma is going to make you be born again. It is going to bind you because you have to suffer or enjoy the fruits of those karma. If you just follow dharma, then you are going to get moksha. But what's the use of moksha if you are not going any further than brahmacharya? So those three align. However, by themselves, they are not enough. If you have devotion and you serve the Lord or the devotees of the Lord, then they can lead you all the way up to the Lord. And that is where comes our Krishna consciousness, the ISKCON, the lineage that comes all the way from Narada, Vyasa, so on and so forth, until Srila Prabhupada. We are so very fortunate that we have, the association of devotees in Srila Prabhupada's movement. We also have association of the books, so, we all should continue reading Prabhupada's books, distributing it, doing Sankirtan as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, and we should continue. And we should take examples, like Swayambhu Manu and Prahalad Maharaj, or even Dhruva Maharaj, they all had huge amounts of time and they devoted that huge amount of time in devotion to the Lord. What we have in Kali Yuga is a mere 100 years, and even that is not guaranteed. And so, while our time is short, we could still make good use of that time and devote it to the Lord and do devotional service, be in this association of the devotees and do Sankirtan. So I will stop there. Please forgive me if I have made any offenses or spoke incorrectly. Thank you, everyone. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindobhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo ananta koti vaishnava. Hare Krishna.